Right now, it is a seller's market. We have buyers all over. We don't have any inventory.
Yeah.
There's no inventory out there, and everyone's the buyer. You know, it's 10-1 buyers versus sellers.
So one of the things too that
create a program that's making more demand for buyers. I didn't think it was needed.
Well, and the thing that I thought was interesting too, right? And you know, full disclosure, I have read the article that was sent and clicked 2 of the links inside of it to get a little further. So I'm by far, you know, the expert, but it looks like it's a state bond, right? So obviously it was a debt issue from the state of Connecticut. It was a $20 million bond issue,
which, by the way, is going to run out soon. It's going to run out, and then we're not going to know when it runs out. So that's going to be the best part.
Yeah,
you're going to go through underwriting, everything else, and be like, oh, there's no more money left. Like, the countdown. There's not a ticker. So then all of a sudden people will be like, oh, I want this, and then all of a sudden you're going to get to the closing and not going to be there. But.
The syndicate's closed, and this is what you're like, great, awesome. Well, and the thing that I thought was interesting was like the idea of and it apparently was issued in December, right? So this was a bond issuance from December. You know, round numbers, let's call mortgage rates were 3% at the time, up and down a little bit, obviously 3.5, whatever. So overall interest rate, 10-year was under 2, probably under 1.5 at the point, 1.6 probably. So you have a fairly low issuance on that debt at the time to try to fund this. Let's pretend that we get really good, you know, ground on this, right? And people start to actually leverage this a lot. You now have very inexpensive money that the state of Connecticut, to be fair, really can't afford to not be making money on. That they're not making money on, right? They borrowed it at 3.25, probably less than that, probably were at prime plus. But so they issued this bond from the state of Connecticut. They're doing it as a 10-year, 0% non-amortization loan. So they're collecting $0.0 on this money. And I appreciate that they're trying to create home ownership, which will generate some property taxes. I get I think the overarching theme, but to your point, Brian, like the timing of this, I don't know could have been any worse. We have no homes to buy. We have no homes to buy. We're giving away inexpensive money when money costs the state a tremendous amount, and the state's already running a deficit up and, you know, twice over itself because of the last 24, 28, 26 months. I just think the timing was ill-advised. I think build the program and create something, and then when the economy normalizes a bit, and by the economy I mean both the stock market as well as the real estate market and interest rates, then I think start to fill that out. And at the same point in time, 25,000 is the limit for most places. And if you find there's it's called an opportunity map in places that the state of Connecticut has deemed more opportunity or better opportunity for residents, which from the best I can tell seems to be like an economic and educational measurement. Like for instance, Madison and Guilford have better opportunity than New Haven, which the only real way to quantify that or qualify that really is well, what are your measurements for that, right? Like New Haven is an infinitely larger city than Madison and Guilford with more commerce, more business, more. So what are you defining as opportunity? In their case, it seems to be economic and educational. So you're now you're changing where people are living with money that the state isn't collecting any interest on, which is fine, but they can't afford to do that because we're already $3 billion in deficit. And you're driving them into shoreline type, you know, most of, if you look across the map, most high opportunity towns are along the shoreline or are fairly densely populated anyway, which has no market because there's no homes there to begin with. So now the house that was $550 getting bid up 3 times is going to be $7.25, and they're not going to be able to afford it anyway. So it's just, it just create, and now you're driving other buyers out of the market. I like the idea.
Right. And, you know, that's a great point, and I want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that. So what they classify as a very low opportunity versus a very high opportunity, and then to also talk about some of the home prices in those certain types of areas and, you know, whether or not it's even affordable to use this program.